Jimmy Butler's brand new basketball shoe feels freaking amazing. Can it beat one of my favorite Li-Ning shoes to play in? I think so. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Chris. Welcome back to the official WearTesters.com YouTube channel. Today we got a detailed look and breakdown on these bad boys right here. This is the Li-Ning JB3, Jimmy Butler's newest sneaker within his signature line. Last year I played in the JB2. It was one of the traction, I will say, was one of the weirdest things I've ever experienced personally. Out of all the shoes that I've played in over the last 15 years doing this, that traction setup was nuts. This one looks to be much of the same, so I am excited. On top of all of that, these feel a lot better than the last model. However, these guys right here are the Li-Ning Li-Ning 4, and this is one of my favorite Li-Ning shoes to play in right now. And yes, that includes the WOW line. I just think that this is a more solid sneaker. It's also more affordable. The only downside to something like this is that it's extremely narrow. And I already have like a regular slim foot and stuff, but this joint right here is hella narrow. And that's where these come in. I think that these fit a hell of a lot better and will accommodate more foot shapes than the Li-Nings. Now, before we deep dive into these bad boys, we do have a quick word from today's sponsor, and that's the good folks over at Zamst, because they're the brand that provides the best in ankle support with their variety of different ankle braces, depending on the level of support that you actually need. Now, this particular bad boy right here is their strongest and most supportive brace. It's dubbed the A2DX, and you've likely seen these on multiple professional athletes, including Trae Young. Now, the A2DX was designed specifically for high ankle sprains, not just supporting them if they happen to have happened, but also helping you prevent them as well. And in addition to that, if you happen to suffer from chronic ankle instability, the A2DX will also help you in supporting that as well. The protective guards on the sides prevents excessive inversion and eversion of the high ankle, while the dual X-strap stabilizers provide three-way support, anterior, lateral, and medial, all of which are for the lower ankle. I personally think that these are great for those that might need something like this. They provide a ton of support without limiting your linear mobility, which is great for multiple sports. So this is not just a basketball thing. Like if you play volleyball, maybe even soccer, this could be a good tool to help you with those ankle issues that you might be having. They're super easy to put on. They're fairly adjustable. My only pro tip is that if you happen to be shopping for new shoes, make sure that you bring this with you to the store, put it on before you try on the shoe. That way you make sure that the shoe is compatible with not just your foot, but with your accessories as well. Now, if you've been looking for the perfect brace for you to support you in all of your different athletic adventures, make sure that you click the link down below in our description box. It'll send you over to Zamst, where you can see if the A2DX is exactly what you need, and if it isn't, they have other options too. Now, just in case you were wondering, this is the box, at least for my particular pair. I don't know if this is the box for everyone, but this looks like an old luggage case. It's cool. It's just interesting because I don't know what the story is and all that stuff. These are not shoes that traditionally are available here in the US as far as easy access goes. You've always got to go to some other place and site. We personally grabbed these from kicksown.com. Link will be down below in the description in case you're wondering, but we've seen them over at Poison and all kinds of other sites. So there's all kinds of places to get them outside of the US. They will ship them here. I'm just saying that as far as getting these from a retailer that you maybe know of, it's probably not happening. Anyways, the outsole on these guys is very similar to the last model where it's flat. There's not a real pattern here. Obviously there's the JB logo, and that is everywhere. If you're comparing it to something like this, look at that. Look at the difference. You got aggressive ass herringbone, and then you've got just a smooth ass surface. It's just weird, you know what I'm saying? But this is partially their GCU setup, so if this plays anything like the JB2s, it's gonna be incredible. That was so tacky on wood floors, it's crazy. I do wonder, is this going to hold up on my league floor? I'm not even gonna risk it. I don't play around. I already explained this, I don't remember when, in a different video. Somebody asked me about that stuff, but yeah. I actually just had what would you call it? It's not a career high, but I had the highest scoring game of my life, 29 points. Not bad for an old guy. But anyways, this is not something that I would risk on that floor or in that setting or environment, but if I'm just playing pickup at the regular ass gym, your local 24, your Lifetime, whatever it is that you hoop at, this is most likely going to perform excellent. Am I gonna take something like this outside for its price? No. If I got it for a really steep discount, maybe. But even then, probably not. The cushion though is the part that I'm really just loving this. This shoe feels awesome. You've got a Li-Ning Cloud Plus carrier, which is mainly just the main midsole that you see, but inside of that is full length boom, and it's really thin on top of that, so you have ultimate court feel, but without sacrificing any of the cushion or any of the impact protection. Like I said, man, these feel amazing. This is one of them shoes where you put this up against any, and I'm talking about any Nike right now, they're blowing them out of the water, man. Like this shoe is better than all that stuff. Just the tech per piece or whatever. Like how would you call that? Like the traction's better, the cushion's better, the carbon plate, didn't even talk about that yet, better. The upper, better. The only thing that's distracting from this thing is its price. And even then, some Nikes retail at this price. Not quite this price, but close to it. So yeah, it's interesting. And one of the things that I mentioned that I also think is awesome, you can kind of see it poking through at the midfoot here, but this is a carbon fiber plate, and it's not just isolated here to the midfoot where it's providing torsional support. This thing actually moves up into the forefoot. So it's a full-on carbon fiber spring plate. Some people love it, some people don't, but a lot of people like really do enjoy having something like that underneath their foot because it gives you a nice snappy ride, and that is how these feel. They already got like a nice little rocker effect like a runner would, but when you add in the cushion and that carbon plate. Now the insole is this guy right here. I don't think that this is really anything special. You can obviously take it out, swap it out for anything else that you'd like. You could leave it in as well. It's not gonna really do much of anything for you, like positive or negative. So it's entirely up to you. I'm just letting you know that that's what's in there. Everything else about the shoe is really tech heavy, except for that piece. The upper is where things get really interesting. There's actually a couple of different versions of this shoe. This being my personal favorite, which is odd because the other versions are actually made out of leather, and that usually is my favorite material. But stuff like this, I just really get a kick out of. I like the rubbery type of uppers. I don't know why. It's a TPU type of build, but also kind of rubbery, so it's flexible but strong. The material backing it is lightweight textile. It kind of reminds me of a really tight Cordura or ballistic style mesh, something that you'd see on the Air Jordan 11. It does have more of a thicker feel, like more of a canvasy feel, so it might just be a really nice jacquard. But either way, that's backing it, so you've got that lightweight aspect, that breathable aspect. It's covered in the strength aspect with the overlays, and then you have a little bit of like actual material here at the toe and the tongue with some leather, which I think is dope. So I just love the way that this particular setup is, where it's got a little bit of everything that I like. The one thing that I'm not loving about just the way that they feel is the tongue. It's very structured, it's very kind of cumbersome, you know what I mean? And it reminds me of like an older LeBron, like a LeBron 8, where it's quilted and it's just heavily stitched and got that really thick border around it. It looks really cool, so I like that. But the way that it rests on my shins and stuff,
no, don't like that.
You've got everything perfect, but that is just crazy to me. It's kind of like the back here. Like, what the f is that for? Take this thing off and look at that. So good. Why is that even in there?
Jordan 4 just entered the chat room.
I like the Jordan 4, but a lot of people would say the same thing. And I love the back tab. I'm just saying, it's uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And this is not Jordan 4 uncomfortable or anything. It's just fabric.
No, I know.
Why is it there though? Performance function.
It's peacocking.
My outfit serves the dual function of icebreaker and attention getter.
Your game should be peacocking, not your shoes. The shoes should wow you and make you want to buy them, but like not because of that. This right here, it's just wasted energy. It does look cool, but it shouldn't be there. However, that heel counter, it's gorgeous. Like, it's so cool looking. It's molded, it's textured. It's not wrapped in leather, even though it looks like it is. It's so cool, man. Like, I really do like this. I think that it's dope. So a shoe like this, I just think is like really interesting. It's really intriguing. This to me, like if this was on a shelf next to all of the other stuff that's on there, much like the Anthony Edwards one, I would just kind of like go over to this shoe. It's one of those, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's attracting me. It just looks cool. Now, as far as fit is concerned, I would go true to size. Whatever you typically wear, that is exactly what I would order. Like I said, they don't fit anywhere near as narrow as that previous Li-Ning shoe. So those were ultra narrow. These are a little bit more forgiving than that. If you're a wide footer, you might want to consider going up half a size, but this is where not having something like this available in store is like just a bummer. You know what I mean? Like, you can't actually go in, try them on, see if they fit or work for you, and then decide. Not really the brand's fault. This is a Chinese brand, so like obviously they're overseas, but it would be nice. Wishful thinking. Now, with all of that being said, what is today's user submitted question of the day?
Has there ever been a point in your life when you thought or considered opening up your own sneaker store?
No.
But
What?
you have considered or fantasized about like a toy store?
Yes. Scary though. No margins. Margins are so thin with the toys. And I'm talking about like getting them direct from the distributors and like the brands and stuff. Your margins on that are so slim. A toy store, like a vintage style toy store that does sell new and old stuff that I really like. It's called Mike's Vintage Toys, and they're not in this state, they're in a different state. I've been shopping with him for a long time on Instagram and stuff like that. He just announced that he's got to close his doors.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just like, bro, that sucks. And so like, no to the sneaker thing. I'm not a sneaker reseller or none of that stuff. And I have zero interest in being a sneaker retailer either, because that's also a massive uphill battle. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about these brands don't give a about you as an account holder, let alone a customer. You know, Adidas don't give two shits. They're trying to sell direct to customer. They're doing their app and this, that, and the other. And yeah, they got all their shit widely available at like what, Dick's? Dick's is your comp. You can't beat them. They got money. You know what I mean? Like, what are you gonna do? So small time retail, just really not happening. Same thing with any other brand too. Nike, they're not gonna give you the good shit, like the stuff that you want to sell. They're gonna give you the shit, and then they're gonna make you pay for the good shit. And trust me, I know this from experience. I've talked to so many retailers, so many boutique owners. The hoops that they make them jump through just to get product that will actually sell, it's crazy. And I could go on, but I won't. I could talk about this in a whole podcast episode if we still had one. But what about you guys? Have you ever considered opening up a retail space for footwear, or a resale place for footwear, or something different? Maybe you like movies. Like, there's no Blockbuster. Well, technically there's one, but like, you know, something like that, where you're just like, you know what, man, somebody should bring this back. Or are you like me and you're just like, the business model just don't make sense? On top of all of that, let me know what you think about these in the comment section. Do you already have a pair? If you do, have you played in them? If you have, what do you think about them? If you haven't, are you considering it? I'm telling you, these are awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We greatly appreciate you guys. We'll catch y'all on the next one. So until then, y'all have a good one.